everyone.
Hey, Coach Fisher, we've got some questions for you. Leading the way is Brent Zwerneman.
Hi, Coach. Wanted to ask you about the opt-outs of Jamon and Anthony, and if those caught you off guard at all, and also who are some of the guys who are stepping up in those roles in their absence?
I mean, listen, I don't mean this. Yes, I mean, they're always keep you off guard because you hate to lose those guys. But at the same time, all the things that have happened out there today in this world in the recent times, there's so many different things, the way they affect young men, the way they affect families. And we don't always know the family effects that they've had and what those families have dealt with, not just from each them, but, aunts, uncles, grandmas, grandpas, moms, dads, brothers, sisters. That's all private. There's a lot of things that happen. So we wish those guys nothing but the best, but, we'd love to have them. But at the same time, we understand and respect everything they do because both guys are outstanding. I mean, they're outstanding students, they're outstanding people, have done a great job for us. But that's just the times we're in right now. I mean, it's unprecedented times and things like this, from guys that could test positive to opting out. There's just things you got to be prepared for as a coach right now that you're trying to do as best you can. And, guys that have stepped up, a lot of our receivers, I mean, whether Hez was there, I think Jalen Preston's had an outstanding camp, Cam Brown. I think our receivers have done a really good job. Caleb Chapman's been really good. And we moved guys all in. Chase Lane, Moose, Damon, Dalen Wright has done well. Devin's been banged up a little bit, but he's been, when he's played Kenyon, I mean, all those guys have all played and done well. And plus our tight end packages and the things we have. So, we have plenty, and those guys have, and we've practiced without Jamon for a long time now. It's not like having him, but at the same time, those guys have really taken advantage of their opportunities. And linebacker-wise, I mean, when you look at it, I mean, you hate to lose Anthony, but, Aaron Hansford's really had a good camp. Aaron can rush. He can play. He's athletic as heck. And Edrin Cooper's had a really good camp. Antonio Doyle as well. Of course, Buddy's being Buddy. Of course, Chris Russell, Andre White. Those guys have all done a good job. Terry and Lee, KK. I mean, all those guys. So, you have enough. You hate to lose anybody. But at the same time, those guys have had really good camps, are playing well and making plays.
I guess from a practical standpoint, it's a little bit frustrating when a guy eats up quite a few reps in camp and then exits less than a week to a game.
I don't think it's because the way we practice in camp, everybody's getting the same amount of reps. There's not a rep that we couldn't be given. They're all got the same amount. We practice 1s, 2s, 3s, and 4s. And I know people don't – they literally get the same amount of reps if you're a 4 or you're a 1 by the way we practice. So from that standpoint, he didn't eat any reps up. And like I say, that's the time, and those decisions and the way things affect people happen at different times, and we respect that. And, no, I don't think that hurt us at all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next question is from Chip Howard from Sports Talk.
Jimbo, what is it about Derek Mason's defensive schemes that seem to give so many teams trouble?
They're extremely diverse, extremely technical, extremely well coached, and they're disciplined in what they do, and they play very hard and physical. I mean, other than that, I mean, knows how to call it. I mean, knows how to leverage you, knows how to pressure you, knows how to make you do things you don't always want to do, trying to force you into different things in which you don't always want to do, the easy way out. Everything is a fight. He makes you earn every yard. There are no gifts. Something, you always say as an offense coordinator, look, well, if you got that and you got that, there's some yards there I can get consistently in that I feel good about or ought to have a good shot. You don't find him with Derek. He's done a great job. And then you combine Ted Roof, who I've known Ted a long time, coached against him. Ted is a very good football coach too. And you combine those two guys and what they're doing, it's a very difficult preparation. And then their players play hard and they're very physical.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Next, we'll move on to Travis Brown from the Bryan College Station Eagle.
Hey, Coach. How are you?
Fine. How are you?
Doing well. Hey, I know a lot of talk about Anais moving to running back. Has there any with Jamon opting out and some uncertainty? Has there been any conversations about him being used any differently than running back, or is it just? I know.
He's our running back, and there's packages and things he can do, but that's where he'll play.
Okay, and I know talking to his dad, a lot of it was about finding mismatches with him. Is that still kind of the
– Yeah, I mean, it's just like you do in football. I mean, you're always trying to find guys. Your tight end is a mismatch. It's a receiver in a mismatch. You move guys around. That's why you like to see receivers play multiple positions and not play one to create mismatches, whether it's size, speed, issues, and what you got. I mean, that's the game of ball. And Anais is a very versatile player and allows you to create mismatches. There's no doubt in my opinion. So, yes, I mean, that goes for everybody we have. But, Anais is very, very attuned at that and understands, because not only does he have physical skills, he has great mental skills. The ability to learn and to retain is pretty amazing.
Mm-hmm. And then just heading into game week, how are you health-wise, both COVID and injury-wise?
Right now, we feel really good. I mean, you know, you're getting tests constantly, so those change every day. I mean, you wait for the test to come in and you keep your fingers crossed. But right now, we're relatively healthy and good with where we're going. So, you know, look forward to moving forward and getting ready to play this first game.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Next question is from Gabe Bach from TexAgs.com.
Yeah, Jimbo, on Hansford, can you take us through his emergence here? And did he win that job in camp? And can you just walk us through the kind of camp that Hansford had for you at linebacker?
You know, Hansford had a great camp, and we've kept a great rotation. See, here's the thing. We've rotated so many guys with different groups now, and it's helped them develop because we were saying, okay, if so-and-so's out, let's put him with this, see how they react and communicate. We've interacted guys as much as we humanly can do, and probably as much as I've ever done, with twos moving to ones, threes moving to twos, threes even moving to ones. Say you lost two guys. We'd say, okay, for 20 minutes today, let's see how they react. And, you know, maybe if you get guys around and tell them what to do, they can even enhance their abilities. We have done that all over because you're trying to play for the unexpected. But Hansford has really blossomed in that. No, Anthony was doing great, but Aaron's doing really well too.
All right, next question is Chris Uriken from the Associated Press.
I was wondering, after everything that's happened over the past few months, what's the feeling now that you're getting close to the game and it's almost upon you? And was there a time where you wondered if y'all would even get to play this season?
You know, there was a slight time. I was pretty optimistic about it. I really was. There was a slight time in there that I wondered. I mean, because you always, as I say, look at what, you know, if this happened or that happened, because you had to have a plan for your team, what you would do in the fall with them, how would you train, what would you able to have any practices? Would you be allowed to practice or would you not? And how you could train guys and not let them, because they had so much time off in the spring and training their bodies. So there was a time there when I got to planning all that, and I said, man, think about what you're planning for. But then I got back to looking at things. I've been very optimistic about it, and it does. I mean, it's really exhilarating. I mean, kind of get your juices flowing. Hey, we're getting back to at least a little bit of normality and getting to play a game. And for these kids, you see the look in their eye and the bounce in their steps, and you see why they love it. So to me, it gets me going as a coach.
Next question is from Brian Peroni with 247.
Hey, Coach. I know you guys like to keep us on our toes with the depth chart, and we probably shouldn't read too much into it, but we've heard a lot about DeMarvin Leal this fall camp, and right now he's listed as a second team or with a true freshman or Braden Mowry. What should we expect to see from him this season, and should he be second team? Is he a starter?
No, Leal's playing as well as anybody we have. I'm going to say that. He's doing a great job, playing great. He'll be playing tons. There'll be tons of rotation. And right now the depth chart, like I said, they asked me for a depth chart. I said, why are you giving me one? Because it's going to change every day. I don't put a lot of stock in everything you see there as far as, you know, we put things in there, what they're going to be, what they can be. I mean, it's not a big deal. Depth charts aren't huge to me. I mean, I hate to say that because we play so many guys in the rotations. I look at guys, there's multiple starters and multiple guys that, you know, will play volume of how the game goes or what personnel groupings we're in. But no, Leal's been outstanding in camp. Outstanding.
What do you see him playing more inside or outside?
Yes.
All right.
I'm not trying to be smart, but
I understand.
If I can't answer the question, I'm just going to say yes. I mean, but that's what gives you the versatility and the way you have to put packages together and things. But that's the truth. Yes. I mean, he'll be doing both.
Next question is from Tyler Shaw from KBTX.
Hey, Coach, you talked about Vanderbilt's defense, so you know they could cause some trouble. When you're looking at this offense, especially the wide receivers, how young they are, what do you expect, and what are you going to be looking for out of them in Week 1?
Oh, you're going to get multiple coverages. You're going to get blitzes. They're going to test you. They're going to jam you. They're going to zone you. They're going to rotate safeties. They're going to from 3 to 3 buzz to 3 bonus. I mean, they're going to quarters you. They're going to trap you. I mean, it's very multiple. And the good thing about that is our defense does a lot of the same things as far as the multiplicity of things you do. So what you practice against daily is really good. We always still do good on good a bunch. And we have, you know, had all camp, and we always do during the season. So hopefully that'll help. But, I mean, they'll challenge them not only physically, but they'll challenge them mentally also.
Next question is from Owen Buchanan from TexAgs.com.
Hi, Jimbo. How can you deal with the opt-outs and some of the injuries y'all have and still be, I guess, optimistic that this team can be as good as, you know, y'all originally thought maybe it could be?
Well, because I think we've built depth. We've recruited well for 2 years, 3 years. I mean, gotten good classes in. I like our energy. I like the development of our players, and we're getting more depth. And you know, of course, but you know, during the season, what if they opt out, and what if they got injured? What's the difference? I mean, I say that. I mean, one you're playing, one you're not. But I mean, those are things as a coach you deal with and you try to plan for. And I think it's the part of it is that I'm very encouraged about our younger guys that are stepping into those roles and how they're accepting those challenges. I mean, like you say, it is. I mean, you hate to lose guys, but sometimes it becomes opportunity for somebody else behind you. And you know, we've recruited well. We got good players, and those guys are accepting. Our coach is doing a good job with them. Those guys are learning how to play at a very good level.
And do you know the 5 guys that you're going to start in your offensive line on Saturday?
Mm-hmm.
Are they the same guys that are on the depth chart?
All right, your next question is from Mark Passwaters from Rivals.com.
Hey, Coach. After that tough question from Olin, I don't know where to go, but I think I'm going to piggyback off of something that Brent said earlier.
Oh, now you understand what road you're going down now? Daggone.
I know it's dangerous, but you know, bear with me on this one. Basically, I just wanted to get back to the linebacker situation and see what your confidence level is with these guys, because it seems like there are a whole lot more names getting mentioned this year than in past seasons.
Well, yeah, I mean, guys have been in the system a couple years, and were very talented, but had to learn what to do and the way they're doing things. I mean, when you look at Hansford now, that's his 3rd year, and he's gotten back over there on defense and done a great job. I mean, when you go with White, Russell, Lee, those guys have all been in there. Buddy's played inside and done an outstanding job. KK's been here, done a good job, and then you signed 2 really good players in Cooper and Doyle. So all those guys have done it. They feel good. I mean, are they perfect? No, we're never happy with anything as far as that goes and what our development is, and they'll continue to get better. But man, you have size, you have athleticism, and they're playing with good consistency, and have played well in camp. Good body, a lot more bodies.
Yeah.
Next question is from Mike Lucas at KAGS.
How you doing, Coach?
Fine. How are you?
Hey, Coach, with such a long lead up to this first game and prolonged practice, summer camp, all that stuff, do you expect the execution to be on par with the first game of the season, or would you expect your team to be a little more crisp in what they're trying to do?
Well, I hope it's very crisp. I say, hey, if I could answer that, I'd sleep better. You always worry about it as a coach on your first game and in any game. I mean, that's part of coaching. You think you got them ready. Do you have them ready? Do you know? But I think our guys have done a good job, and all you can go off is how you've practiced and the way you've scrimmaged in those situations. And we've done a nice job. It's been a really good camp. I've been pleasantly, and the good thing about it, I see the improvement each and every day. And I know you say that, well, you should, but sometimes you don't. You hit laws, you hit things, and sometimes you go backwards every now and then, you know, what goes on. But our guys have continued, and I think we're hitting our stride at the right time.
Next question is from Zach Taylor at Bryan Broadcasting, and then we'll go to Chuck Carlton.
Hey, Jimbo, appreciate you coming on with us. For Saturday, I know there's still so much in the air. You haven't been able to go in front of a capped capacity, but for you, what do you feel like the atmosphere is going to be at Kyle Field Saturday? Whatever we make it. And that's our job as coaches and players to make it the atmosphere. That's what we have to worry about right now. We can't depend on the crowd. And I don't mean this in a bad way. You should never depend on the crowd. That's just a bonus. You got to depend on yourself, your own attitude, your own demeanor to create the atmosphere for yourself as a player. You can't rely on them to get you there. They help you. They bonus you. You love them. You want to play well for them, and that all is energetic. But at the same time, as a competitor and athlete, you have to bring your own energy and your own abilities to focus, concentrate, and play at a high level. Thanks. Thank you.
Question from Chuck Carlton at the Dallas Morning News, and then we'll go to Gabe Bach.
Jimbo, with all the youth and experience you do have at wide receiver, even though you have a lot of talent there, how important, I guess even more important, does Kellen and his experience and his steadying influence become with that group?
Oh, I think it's huge, and I think you've seen that in our practices. I mean, you've seen a really good group of guys who feel that, do that, and have done a really good job, and the way he's affected them and the communication levels he's had with them. And it's been excellent. I'm telling you, it really has. It's been a really good camp, and he's done a good job in that regard. And even, in the few older guys we have, and those guys have bought in, man. They learn well and they're athletic.
Next up is Gabe Bach from TexAgs.com, and then Robert Cessna.
Well, I wanted to ask you about, you've been a little thin at some injuries at tight end. I understand you
Mm-hmm.
moved Blumrick over there. He's moved around a lot, but how much credit do you give him for just fighting for trying to find his spot? And then what kind of impact do you think he's going to make?
It has, and I think our backs have hit a good stride there, and his body type, being 6'5", man, he can run. He's athletic, and I'm gonna tell you, Blumrick's tough now. He'll put his face on you. He'll hit you. He's competitive, and being a quarterback, you pretty much know all the assignments. That's the thing that's been very good in being allowed him to move. As far as, you teach him the pass game. Well, he knows it because he was a quarterback and knew where they were going to be and the things that happened in that regard. So, and I think he's learned to block. He's done a really good job. You wonder how he blocked, but he was playing running back. And at running back, sometimes a lot of your assignments in your spread stuff become very similar to what the tight ends are by the rules of how you do things. And he understands that and is adapted very well. And I've really been impressed with the way he's played. I really have.
Next up is Robert Cessna from the Bryan College Station Eagle, and then Chip Howard.
Jimbo, did you see any difference in Kellen's demeanor or leadership when he loses Jamon, who's his best receiver and a good friend?
You know something? He's been, from the day he got here, this camp, hasn't changed a lick. And it's been outstanding. His demeanor, his ideas with the team, the way he's played, his personality, his influence on guys, the way he's pushed guys, it's been exactly the same. When Jamon elected to do that, which I know it didn't, but I think what you saw was the maturity out of Kellen. You didn't see anything different. I'm sure inside it hurt him, and I know it did, but I think it also, the responsibility he has to this program and to his other teammates, I think is a tribute to him about how he's handled that situation to me. I don't mean that. I'm sure inside he hates, but it's been the same Kellen the whole time.
All right, let's move to Chip Howard from Sports Talk, and then Brian Peroni.
Jimbo, I was wondering how many games you've been able to watch these last couple of weeks, and if one or two things or either side of the ball has stood out, whether it's special teams or mistakes, or what stood out to you as you watched some of these early games?
I haven't watched a bunch because we were practicing on Saturdays and not as many games on Saturday night, and we're working on Sundays with game planning, meeting, and doing all that, off and on. But I mean, it's just a typical thing. Sometimes you always worry about special teams early in the season. All the little things that can happen, what happens. I think offensively, you look at some of the teams that struggle. It's been, did they turn it over? Did they have pre-snap penalties? Did they have communication issues, getting plays in the game, personnel's in the game, things like that? You worry about blown assignments and communications on a game day, and you see the teams that have struggled have had those, but then at the same time, you've had some outstanding performances, and how some of these guys have come out and handled camp. So hopefully we'll have our team ready to play and get out of the blocks and finish strong the whole time.
Next question's from Brian Peroni at 247.
Hey, Coach, I just wanted to ask about the running back rotation and what, you're sort of expecting there. You have a ton of guys to get carries. I assume Spiller and Anaya Smith will get plenty, but what about after that? What do you see happening this week and going forward? And then I really wanted to specifically ask about Ernest Crownover. I know he's had a good camp from all accounts.
He's had a really good camp. I mean, blocking, catching, running. He's big. He's physical. He's fast. He's good with the ball in his hand. He's done a great job. I've been pleased with all. A chain has been he learns well, has great hands, can runs between the tackles very well, outside, but runs both plays. DeAndre Jackson's physical and tough and carries the ball. Hubbard, very talented, good with the ball in his hand, can catch. All those guys got great ball skills. They run with power. I've been really happy with our backs. I really have. I mean, these guys have done a really good job of learning and playing and feel comfortable, especially for the freshmen. As far as they're along right now, they've been really good. Never had that many guys as freshmen or newcomers come in and really absorb that much and play that. Usually have one, or sometimes you may have two at the most. But, these guys have done a good job. I mean, they're still learning, but they've done a good job. They really have.
All right, let's move to Brent Zwerneman from the Houston Chronicle, and then Travis Brown.
Coach, it seems like from the outside anyway, Buddy Johnson has been a rock for you on that side of the ball and senior leader. Could you just speak to that and how he's been for you during camp and your expectations for his senior season?
Well, I expect a lot out of Buddy because, I think he demands a lot out of himself. He's had a great offseason training, the things he did, the learning to play middle linebacker last year, like you say, going from outside to inside is a big change, guys. I mean, that's a big change. And being able to distribute and the information and process the information and make decisions and fit gaps and things. He's done a great job. He's had a great offseason. He has great influence on the players. He comes to work every day. He's got a great attitude, and he's got a great leadership attitude and sees the big picture of what's going on, and just very pleased with his performance. And we're going to play well. He needs to play well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next question is from Travis Brown from the Bryan College Station Eagle.
Yeah, Coach. Chip mostly took my question, but I'll go out there and with a player opting out 6 days before the season, is there a constant worry as a coach that as injuries fall up, like you said earlier, other things that it might be a week-to-week thing of more players opting out through the season?
I mean, you can't sit and worry. We tried to plan for that, but if you sit and worry about that, and as I say, chase ghosts all the time, you just get a good feel for your team and what's going on and talk to the guys and you play. But if you sit and worry about that, I mean, you'll worry yourself to death. We don't see any sign of anybody else doing those right now, and we're playing well, and the guys are playing well, and they're excited to play. So you just go play.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
All right, we'll go to Daryl Bruffett, and then we'll finish up with Kurt Bowles.
Coach, I wanted to know, I know you guys are honoring players' scholarships when they're opting out, but is there a chance that maybe you could, I don't know, pull a scholarship and maybe shop and try to find somebody in the transfer portal just to add more strength and depth because of that?
No, I won't do that. No, sir, I won't do that. That's their rules. That's their scholarship, and that's their right to be able to do that. And I support that 100%. I would never do that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
And we'll finish up with Kurt Bowles from the Austin American-Statesman.
Jimbo, you're starting your third year at A&M. I'm curious, in your mind, how long it takes to establish your culture in building a new program, and what's been the hardest thing about it?
I think you're always establishing that. I think that's something you're always developing and establishing, and as the players, and then that trickles from the player to player, from the older guys to the younger guys. When the older guys get it, and you get enough guys there for a significant amount of time that are playing significant roles as older guys and passing that down. And that's what I've seen in camp. That's why I've been so pleased with camp, and you see me in a good mood as far as how we're doing things. We'll have success. We got to play and execute, but I like this team. I like their attitude, demeanor, and how they communicate, and they're fun to coach. And so from that prospect, I mean, they've got me very encouraged that our culture is developing and in the way we want it and what's happening.
Did you feel comfortable your first or second year?
I did. I mean, you're always comfortable, but you're always wondering how is it going to go, what's going to go, and there's always changes from first or second year, and you got new guys in. Now you got more guys in your program that have been, even your younger guys that have been there now for a couple years and in 1 year. I think that makes a big difference. It's not always your top guys, but how that affects the young guys.
Thanks, Jimbo.
Thank you.
All right, that's all the questions I have for you, Coach.
Right.
Thanks.
Thank y'all. Y'all have a wonderful day. Be safe.